Hi, my name is Welin Grossman, and this is the Drash that I presented on my Bar MItzvah, 2009. Shabbat Shalom. Leviticus covers many varied topics, but if you step back from all the details, it is unified by the theme of holiness. Today's Torah portion is Emor, which is in the middle of the book of Leviticus. If you were to count, you'd find that there were 124 lines in the full portion and 38 lines in today's triennial portion. Today I will examine and explore 4 lines of Emor within the context of counting and equality. I will ask and answer these questions. Who counts? Who is counted? Who counts more? And when does it really count? Ready? Okay. Today I'm becoming a Bar MItzvah. Okay, this is where you want to pay attention, because it's audience participation time. Is this true? By show of hands, who agrees? Now, who does not agree? This statement is not true. I became a Bar MItzvah on my Hebrew birthday, which was on the 27th of Nisan, 2 weeks ago. What did I need to do to become a Bar MItzvah? Nothing other than wake up. Today is for you and me to celebrate my coming of age. Today I am celebrating by reading from the Torah, reading my Haftorah, and leading you through Friday night and Saturday morning services. None of this makes me a Bar MItzvah. It just celebrates my becoming of one. I don't need today to count. I already count. The real importance of this day is welcoming me into the community, counting me as part of the community, counting me as part of the minyan. Minyan. A minyan is a quorum of 10. Why 10? In today's portion in Leviticus 22:32, God says that I shall be sanctified in the midst of the people of Israel. In Genesis 42:5 it is said, and the children of Israel came to buy, referring to the 10 sons of Jacob who went to Egypt during the famine to obtain food. Just as the children of Israel in the latter verse refers to the 10 sons of Jacob, so the former verse came to be understood as referring to 10. So the verse, I shall be sanctified in the midst of the children of Israel, is understood to be God will be sanctified in the midst of 10. That is how a minyan has become a quorum of 10. Who counts? 10 Jews count, as a minyan. Interestingly, in Hebrew, minyan literally means to count or to number. Here's a scenario to think about. People are gathering for a minyan. It's traditional that certain important prayers are only said in the presence of a minyan. One of those prayers is Mortis Kaddish, or for those who are in mourning or those observing a Yortzeit, the anniversary of a death. Slowly, person by person comes, but not the needed full minyan. There are only 9 present, but there's a rabbi. More time passes, and the 10th person still doesn't show up. Can they count the rabbi as 2? This is a very learned rabbi. He knows twice as much as everyone else present, maybe even 3 times as much. Can he count as 2? By show of hands, who thinks he can count as 2? Now, who does not? The answer is no. Rabbis are considered instruments of holiness. They aren't holiness itself. They are human, and each human counts equally. So who counts? A rabbi counts, but only as one person. Rabbis are not counted as 2. There's a Yiddish proverb that makes the same point. It goes, 9 rabbis do not make a minyan, but 10 shoemakers do. All Jews are equal when it comes to a minyan. Who counts? In a minyan, everyone counts. No one is counted twice. Everyone counts equally. There is another story that highlights equality. In Babylonian times, a man had an urgent question for Rabbi Rabbah. The mayor of the town said he would kill that man if that man did not kill another. The man asked the rabbi if he should kill the other man to stay alive. Rabbi Rabbah noted that there was no evidence that the man who posed the question's life was more valuable than the life of the other. He stated, your blood is not redder. Perhaps the blood of the other man is redder. In other words, you do not have the right to take the life of an innocent person. You can't presume your life is of more value than the other person. Who knows? Only God is such a judge. Hence, each life is treated with equal value. It can be noted that in Judaism, one is always permitted to kill in self-defense. The rabbis urged, whoever comes to kill you, kill him first. Yet we must assume all life is valued. Who counts? Each of us counts, equally. Equality. In Judaism, equality is valued and promoted. It can also be applied to many concepts. One of them is law. In Leviticus 24:22, we read that you shall have one manner of law for all. This concept was unheard of at the time. Imagine that wealth, power, and prestige would not affect your status in the eyes of the law. It does not matter if a rabbi broke the law or a shoemaker. In Judaism, everyone is equal, and law treats each the same. Punishment is highlighted in the verse, limb for a limb, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. The injury he inflicted on another shall be given to him. Leviticus 24:20. If taken literally, this would be retaliation. Kind of harsh, you would think. I thought so too. I learned that an eye for an eye is never literal in Judaism. It is a good thing that retaliation is not the answer, because retaliation usually escalates violence. The punishment in Judaism is usually in forms of restitution money. The school of Rabbi Ishmael looked at the phrase, "so shall it be given to him," and looked at the word "give." They inferred that give would be they would actually give money for breaking the law. And that is what the Israelites did. The amounts varied with the type of injury or loss, but the concept of monetary restitution was maintained and applied equally. The loss of my eye was worth as much as the loss of your eye. In Jewish law, everyone counts equally. No one has a right to count more, not even the rabbis or the priests of old. Some Torah scholars believe the material in Leviticus was originally a set of instructions for the Kohanim, the priests, and have described it as a professional guide. With its inclusion in the Torah, these instructions, which could otherwise be shrouded in secrecy, are accessible to all, not just the priests. Yet, now each of us can count on the opportunity of equal access to these texts. Who counts? We all count to God. We know that each of us is unique, and we are taught that each of us contributes something unique to the vision of God's presence in the world. There is a midrash that teaches us that each of us has a letter in the Torah that is written just for us. We are all special to God. We count. We've looked at various ways of counting. Before we close, let's consider the most obvious way of counting. 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Counting up and counting down. We learned how to count before we learned how to read. Counting is fundamental in our everyday life. Counting can increase our excitement and focus. Well, what do we count? We count a lot of things. We count days until our birthday, hours until lunch, kids in a classroom, days until speaking in front of a very large crowd. When we regularly count our blessings, we notice we have more of them. Counting up and down both have the effect of heightening awareness and increasing excitement. In Leviticus 23:15, we are instructed to count the Omer. We read, "You shall count off 7 weeks, from the day after Passover begins to the holiday of Shavuot, the giving of the Torah." When we count, as with the Omer, we understand ourselves in relation to an event. Today is the 30th day of the Omer, and that means that 30 days ago Passover began, and Shavuot begins in 20 days. There are 49 days, or 7 weeks, between the beginnings of these two holidays. Who counts? I count the days until my Bar MItzvah, the hours until lunch. Everyone counts something of importance. So in this Drash, we have talked about and asked these questions. Who count? I count. I count as a minion and as part of this community. Who counts? You count too, for your blood is not redder than mine. Who is counted? In the minion, every Jew is counted. In God's eyes, every one of us is counted. Who counts more? On one hand, no one counts more. We are equal. On the other hand, some of us count more, that some of us count our blessings more often, or some of us count the Omer. But we all count. When does it really count? Today and on all days. I count, you count, we all count. We count to God and to each other. This is the holiness of Leviticus. We all count specially. Thank you for making this day count for me. Thank you for coming and being counted as my community.